Allen Iverson was an unbelievable athletic talent, one of the best the NBA has ever seen. Both fast and quick, just deadly off the dribble, able to penetrate the lane, and then he was deadly in the air too. Twisting and contorting past much larger players, his drives would make you say, how'd he do that? And then he'd do like 2 more unbelievable things before he hit the ground. A rare shooter point guard, he was an extremely prolific scorer, and on the other end of the floor, he could shut down a fast break with a strip or pick the pocket of a big man who never saw him coming. Philadelphia drafted him first overall in the competitive '96 draft class, and Allen proved he deserved the honor by getting another one. He also crossed up MJ as a rookie in case anyone needed more proof. His early success did not abate. He made the All-Star team 11 times in a row and collected 2 All-Star MVP awards. He led the league in scoring 4 times and in steals thrice. He was unstoppable, literally. At a self-proclaimed 6 foot even, he got knocked around plenty, but led the league in minutes 7 times throughout his career. Oh, and did I mention, he was league MVP in 2001. His retired jersey hangs in Philadelphia, and he was a no-brainer for the Hall of Fame in 2016. But the thing is, and honestly I hate to bring this up, but Allen Iverson never won a championship. You gotta wonder why. The 76ers were in a position to draft Allen because they only won 18 games the previous season. It was rebuild time. The Sixers quickly learned that Allen wasn't a traditional point guard, he was a shooter, not a facilitator. So they hired Larry Brown for his sophomore season, hoping to fix that. When you're putting up 40-plus points in multiple games your rookie year, and some adult with glasses comes in and tries to tell you that's the wrong way to play, well, you'd have to be pretty humble to accept that. After a 6-16 start, it seemed changing Iverson might not work. So, Philly traded Jerry Stackhouse and collected some defensive players. If Allen was going to be the offense, why not surround him with defensive guys and someone else to do the passing? With 31 wins at the end of the season, Iverson's 76ers were moving up, but needed more. In the 98-99 season, they picked up big man Matt Geiger, and Larry Brown moved Iverson to shooting guard. Allen excelled. He led the league in scoring that year. Oh, and Philly made their first playoff appearance in 8 years. And it was more than just an appearance. They upset the 3rd seed Orlando Magic 3-1. Allen scored 30 or more points in each of Philly's wins. But then they got swept by the Pacers. Though the final outcome belies how close these games really were. Game 1 had just a 4-point margin. Philly's comeback was cut short by missed free throws. Game 2 was just a 3-point loss, with Allen missing a last-second scramble as the clock expired. Game 3 saw Philly go without a made field goal for 6 minutes in the 4th quarter. And Game 4 ended the series when the Sixers collapsed in the final minutes to surrender a lead and lose by 3. The Sixers weren't yet championship contenders. This was a young squad getting experience against a very good Pacers team. But while everything was just about moving in the right direction, there was still one big issue. In the 2000 playoffs, after dispatching the Hornets in 4 games, Philly had a chance at revenge against the Pacers. But Iverson and his coach weren't on great terms. Sure, this season Iverson made his first All-Star game, but he was skipping practices whenever he felt like it and getting a rep as a ball hog. Brown was frustrated. He wanted more passing from Allen, even as a shooting guard. Also, Brown wanted him to come to practice and arrive to games on time. Iverson didn't want to be told what to do, and he certainly didn't want to be benched. So when he was, for just part of the game, he said he wanted a trade. With such intra-team turmoil, a championship run seemed far-fetched. Sure, Philly did pull out 2 wins in the Pacers series, but it took a Reggie Miller ejection and then suspension to get those W's. Iverson had a tough series with the bigger Mark Jackson posting him up, and he was inconsistent from the field, but kept on shooting anyway. Larry Brown drew up plays other than ISO Allen, but saw those plays ignored. Brown was so fed up that he actually tried to trade Allen in the offseason. While Larry Brown didn't get his trade, he did get a new commitment from Iverson. There was a lot that had kept Iverson from winning a championship thus far, But in the 0-1 season, he acknowledged that his attitude was one of those things. NBA champions lift weights and show up to games on time. So that's what he would do. And it paid off. This year would be the closest Allen Iverson ever got to slipping a ring on his finger. He was an all-star, won MVP of the All-Star game, led the league in both scoring and steals, and to top it all off, was league MVP. Not to mention, Aaron McKie was having his best season, and in February, Philly had the best record in the league. With a championship in their sights, they traded for defensive standout Dikembe Mutombo. The offense ran through Allen and the scoring came from him. He still had the team on his slight shoulders, but the team was less heavy. The Sixers fought through the Eastern Conference, defeating Toronto thanks to Vince Carter's missed buzzer beater in Game 7, and then got past Milwaukee in a 7-game series that saw an unbalanced amount of Texan flagrants called on the Bucks. Thus, Philly earned themselves a trip to the NBA Finals to face one of the most talented teams the NBA had ever seen. The matchup with the Lakers came down to a couple of factors. The Lakers had two of the best in the league, possibly the best ever. The Sixers had two of the best in the league, one of whom was Defensive Player of the Year, but apparently that doesn't mean much against Shaq, who dominated Mutombo all series. The Lakers had a deep roster of role players. They had an answer to whatever was thrown at them. The Sixers had a shallow roster of injured starters. The Lakers swept every series thus far. Philly had a tough road, and did I get all the injuries last time? No, I don't think I did. So everyone expected another Lakers sweep. But that's not what went down. All heart and tenacity, Allen willed his way to a Game 1 overtime win, scoring 48 points on his own, punctuating his efforts with a Tyrone Lue step-over. It was triumphant for the Sixers, but could they do it 3 more times? I'm afraid not. In Game 2, Philly cut a 12-point fourth-quarter lead to just 3, but as soon as they did, Derek Fisher hit a 3 and Ron Harper added a jumper. In Game 3, thanks to some clutch free throws from Iverson, the Sixers cut an 8-point lead to just 1 in the final minute of the game. But this time, Robert Horry immediately hit a 3, then made 4 unanswered foul shots. In Game 4, Allen led Philly on an 11-0 fourth-quarter run that cut an 18-point lead to just 7. But then Shaq dunked through Mutombo, and Shaw and Horry and Lue each hit key threes, and suddenly the lead was up to 17. Before Game 5, Allen admitted the fatigue was getting to him. During the game, he told Larry Brown he thought he broke some ribs, but he kept on playing, and again, in the fourth, rallied. The Sixers cut a 19-point lead to 7 with under 2 minutes to go. Then, Derek Fisher hit a 3, and the lead they'd worked so hard to whittle down was back up to double digits. AI subbed out with 40 seconds left. It wasn't going to happen. Philly put up a fight in every game. They scared the Lakers in every fourth quarter, but they only scared them. They didn't defeat them. No title for Allen Iverson this year. The one solace was the team's potential. They'd be healthy next year, they'd have Mutombo for the full season, Iverson and Larry were working together in apparent harmony. The future looked bright, right? For the 01-02 season, the 76ers overhauled their lineup, combing the league for suitable support for Allen Iverson. They traded away a bunch of bench players and 2 starters for a handful of new guys. In fact, Philly returned only 6 players from last year's Eastern Conference Championship roster. Also, Philly had a new set of injuries to deal with this season and rarely had a full lineup in uniform. Oh, and Geiger retired 4 games into the season. Iverson missed 22 games and also some practices and some shoot-arounds and some workouts. Now, his absences were due to injuries, but also due to a variety of reasons, like he was sick, or his kid was sick, or traffic, or flat tires, or other sicknesses. So, while he said one thing, his actions said another, and his relationship with Larry Brown was deteriorating fast. The two passive-aggressively aired their grievances in the press, and as they entered the playoffs to defend their Eastern Conference title, everything was rocky. And if that wasn't adversity enough, thanks to all those injuries, Philly's playoff starters didn't even practice together until April. And if that wasn't adversity enough, their first-round matchup was against Paul Pierce and the Celtics. And if that wasn't adversity enough, this year the league relaxed the rules restricting Zone D. Boston's zone quieted Iverson. He couldn't play one-on-one and penetrate. He had to take jumpers, which didn't fall. In Game 1, he didn't score a field goal in the second, third, or fourth quarter. And in Game 2, he shot 11 for 30. Oh yeah, and he sat out practice before Game 2. He said he had a sinus infection. Larry Brown teased him in the press, saying it must be Boston's altitude getting to him. So good, everyone's handling everything with maturity and aplomb. Philly managed 2 wins this series, but that did little to blunt the embarrassment of what happened in Game 5. The Sixers were eliminated in a 120-87 Game 5 loss. A lot of that was Paul Pierce scoring 46 points, including 8 three-pointers, but also Philly looked dead out there. Allen managed to penetrate some, but he missed 5 shots from close range. Allen blamed the 33-point loss to simply not wanting it enough, which seems kinda insufficient. It's abstract and unsatisfying and reeks of defeatism. Brown, however, had a more tangible reason for Philly's demise. He said he couldn't coach the Sixers past the first round because of Allen Iverson's practice habits. This launched Allen into the infamous press conference where he mentioned the word practice 22 times and seemed bewildered as to why a former MVP would have to answer questions about practice.
We talking about practice, not a game, not the game that I go out there and die for. We're talking about practice, man.
Though to be fair to Iverson, one reason practice might have seemed so trivial, the trial for his best friend's murder was happening the same day as this press conference. Iverson's offseason went from bad to worse. Over the summer, Allen got charged with criminal trespassing and possession of an unlicensed gun. He was unraveling. But he was still the answer in Philadelphia. When he told management he wanted 2 more scorers for the 03 season, they went and got 2 more scorers, trading Mutombo for deep threat Keith Van Horn and Todd McCullough, who could score in the paint. Suddenly, Allen had help on offense. The starting 5 got themselves into double figures routinely. But their path to the finals was not clear of roadblocks or traffic jams or dead ends where the path just kind of drops off into a bottomless pit of despair. The first roadblock was the Hornets, who Philly eventually passed in 6 games, but Allen fell back into his old ways of dominating the game all on his own, despite having scorers around him this time. This resulted in some impressive stats for AI, but it's the kind of play that had failed to get him through the playoffs for the past 6 years. And you know Larry Brown hated it. After the Hornets, Iverson had to get past the defensive-minded Detroit Pistons, which is where the Sixers' path hit that bottomless pit of despair I was talking about. In Game 2, with 15 seconds left, a 2-point lead, Iverson, a 77% free throw shooter, was at the line. The game belonged to Philly. But then Allen missed not 1 but 2 of those free throws.
Iverson missed them both, though!
Tayshaun Prince seized the opportunity and hit a ridiculous spinning layup to take the game to overtime, where Detroit pulled away. Iverson blamed himself for the loss. The Sixers won Game 3 and 4 at home to even up the series, but Game 5 saw more Sixers heartbreak. This time in the form of Chucky Atkins, who was only in because Chauncey Billups was hurt. Atkins hit this baseline shot with 0.9 of a second left to give Detroit a 1-point victory. And in Game 6, with elimination on the line, Detroit found a way to smash Philly's broken heart into even more pieces. Although Allen got a hit in there too when he showed up just 32 minutes before tip-off. The game came down to the wire, twice. With 14 seconds left in regulation, Billups hit 2 free throws and tied things up. Then, Allen couldn't get open for the final shot, and time expired without Philly even putting up an attempt. Back to overtime. With 10 seconds left in OT, Philly was down by 3. Iverson drove, Detroit backed off to avoid a foul, and Iverson missed. The end. Iverson couldn't pull this one out. Game over, season over. Brown was done. For the 03-04 season, he left Allen for the Pistons. The Sixers promoted Randy Ayers to head coach, mostly because Allen liked him. And upon Allen's request, Ayers made him point guard again. But after 31 losses by early February, Philly fired Ayers and brought in Chris Ford. Ford took a hardline approach with Iverson, and what do you know, that didn't work. After the All-Star game, Allen missed practice, as he's wont to do, and Ford immediately fined him and benched him. Later in the season, Ford told Allen he was going to come off the bench, so Allen said, "Oh, okay, actually, I won't be playing." He changed into street clothes, got some nachos, and settled in to watch the game. His logic was simple.
Any franchise players that come off the bench. I don't know any Olympian that come off the bench. I don't know any All-Star that come off the bench. I don't know any former MVP that come off the bench. I don't know any three-time scoring champion come off the bench. I don't know any first-team All-NBA come off the bench. Why Allen Iverson?
Oh yeah, the Sixers did not make the playoffs this season, but you probably already figured that out. The 05 season saw a new coach and a promising rookie. In February, Philly traded a few subs and Kenny Thomas for all-star Chris Webber, who was playing on a recently repaired knee, but was averaging 21 points a game with the Kings. Everyone expected the Webber-Iverson duo to dominate. Allen got his groove back in the regular season. He again led the league in scoring, recorded a 60-point game, and averaged a career-high 7.9 assists. But the expected dynamic duo faltered, to the extent that Philly fans sometimes booed Chris Webber. He struggled to get used to an offense that ran through Iverson, and his scoring production never matched what he was doing in Sacramento. While Philly did get themselves back into the playoffs, Allen knew any postseason success was totally up to him, which would be tough considering the first round was against Larry Brown and the reigning champion Pistons. Yeah, that's right, as soon as Brown left Philly, he won a championship. With Ben Wallace in the paint, AI's penetration points were limited and Detroit went up 2-0. Iverson did manage to lead Philly to a win in Game 3, but they lost Game 4 in overtime. In do-or-die Game 5, the Sixers were doing more than dying and held the lead for most of the game. But with about 10 minutes left in the game, Iverson rolled his ankle. He taped it up and played on, but when the guy who is your offense hurts his ankle, you got a problem. The Pistons went on an 8-0 run and Philly couldn't recover. But hell, even if Philly forced a Game 6 with Iverson hurt, there wasn't much hope for them. The Pistons were nearly unbeatable with a healthy Iverson. Another season, another playoff exit. Allen's time in Philly was nearing its end. In 06, the Iverson-Webber-led 76ers finished under 500, and Allen continued missing practices at will. In December, Allen once again wanted a trade, and this time he got it. Allen headed to Denver, where he would pair up with the league's current leading scorer, once Melo's 15-game suspension was over, of course. There was a lot of scoring power on this Nuggets team, but both Melo and Allen were used to the ISO, and that's what they kept doing. They just sort of took turns with the ball each time down the floor. It was enough to get them to the playoffs as the 6th seed, but then Allen got to experience the dominance of the Western Conference in the late aughts. Round 1 against the Spurs, taking turns with Melo actually got the Nuggets a Game 1 win. But throughout the series, Iverson didn't shoot well from the field, and the Spurs would go on to win 4 in a row. The Nuggets just couldn't get past the offensive trio of Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Ginobili. Plus, Michael Finley and familiar face Robert Horry were around to hit a bunch of threes anytime Denver even entertained the idea of winning. The 08 season was more of the same. The Western Conference was even more competitive. All 8 playoff teams were within 7 games of each other. And this time it was the Kobe Gasol-led Lakers eliminating Iverson and Melo in a quick 4-game sweep. 3 games into the 08-09 season, Denver traded Iverson to the Pistons. Don't worry, Larry Brown wasn't there anymore. The Pistons had been to the last 6 Eastern Conference Finals, so this could be Allen's chance to join a winning team instead of trying to propel a struggling team through playoff upsets. But the thing is, the Pistons wanted Allen to come off the bench, and we know Allen doesn't like that. Rather than fight him, the Pistons deactivated him in early April. The next year, he joined the Grizzlies, but they also wanted the 34-year-old guard to come off the bench. So after 3 games, he was gone. In December 2009, Philly offered him a starting spot, but made him learn their new team-oriented offense. Allen struggled and didn't stick with it past February. And that's how Allen Iverson ended his NBA career. Not with a bang nor a whimper, but a weird combination of both. A defiant refusal to come off the bench, followed by quietly slipping out of the league. He didn't officially retire until 2013, but he didn't play after February 2010. In his prime, he clashed with coaches and his gargantuan efforts came up short over and over. When he was suddenly told he was past his prime, he refused to be a sub. You can't just glom onto a team and chase a ring if you don't come off the bench. He wanted a championship, but he wasn't about to let somebody else win it for him. While his ring finger might be naked, there's no doubt to Allen Iverson's talent. His drives were works of art. He left so much heart on the court, it's a wonder his blood was still pumping after each game. And his headstrong attitude made it very clear he knew exactly who he was. One of the greatest players to ever play the game. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you never miss a thing. And if you want more Allen Iverson, check out this Rewinder. Or for more Untitled from the '96 draft class, we got Steve Nash. For SB Nation, I'm Clara Morris. Good night and good game.